for me, it's not just about women in Cardano as well. It's it's completely around inclusivity, and at the end of the day, we want everyone to be included. You don't just have to be a Cardano girl or a woman, to support Cardano girls. It's we want to include everybody, and that's like the main sort of goal that we have. But ultimately, this this is a great way for more women in our community to get together to create and boost our ecosystem. And I hope that encourages more women to come out.
What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. As a part of today's video, we're diving into the Cardano Girls movement. I've got Lily Brody joining me here for this interview. Without any further ado, let me go ahead and bring her up. Lily, good morning. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing? Great to be here.
I'm doing great. Thank you for your time. You're almost like a superstar now. So I've brought you on here to talk about the Cardano Girls movement. You guys have taken over my Twitter feed, and I'm sure many other community members' Twitter feeds. And a lot of people are asking about Cardano. So it's an interesting movement. And again, happy to have you on the channel to let me pick your brain a little bit about what you guys have done in the past couple of days. Okay, jumping right on in, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you just come into the Cardano space. So for anybody who's hearing and seeing you for the very first time, what's your experience been like in the space, and what kind of drew you to Cardano?
Good question. So I kind of fell into the community, I guess, back in October 2021. It was during COVID time. I was playing around with digital art, and I caught up with an old friend who is a very active member in the Cardano community. And he saw my artwork and said, well, this could be great for Cardano. Have you thought about NFTs? And I checked out the community, and I kind of fell in love with just the closeness and just how everyone supports each other. So in October 2021, I launched a art collection called FF, which basically supports women, and it represents how women can be sexual, naked, and dignified. And I went forward with that art collection and sold out 4 collections. And I've just been in the space ever since. I still put out artwork. I love connecting with the community. And I also just kind of got into creating content. I found a love for creating content, as I've always been someone who just really enjoys having a laugh, and kind of, that's it really, just having a laugh and making connections.
Yeah, I think that sort of echoes the sort of crowd that you've drawn in with the Cardano Girls movement, right? Very laid back. I didn't realize you're an artist, though. That's actually brand new news to me. I knew you're a content creator. I saw you created a couple of bits and you submitted them for the Cardano Spot event, or for the Cardano Spot competition about a year ago. And you actually won that. That was really awesome. I was highly surprised at the simplicity, but then your approach to humor, right? I think that's really what kind of gathered a lot of people, was your very laid back sense of content creation and really making Cardano digestible for people that were looking from the outside. And so congrats on that. And I'll go ahead and leave the links to your art collection and your artwork down below as a part of today's video description. Now, if anybody here, isn't already following Lily, I'll go ahead and leave the link to her Twitter down below as well. But about a week ago now, I jumped onto Twitter super early morning, and I saw a video that was beginning to go viral. I think when I checked it out, it had around maybe 50 to 60,000 views, and I watched it, and it was a collaboration between you and a couple of other well-known female personnel in the community, kind of having this really laid back approach to talking about Cardano and how you guys interact with the blockchain. I remember checking it out a couple of hours later. It was at somewhere around 500,000 views. And I believe right now it's around 1.7 million views. For anybody who hasn't seen the Cardano Girls original video, could you explain what it is, but then also how the idea about it came to be?
Yeah, it's been madness to say the least with this with the video and Cardano Girls. I think it's safe to say that we didn't expect it to blow up as much as it did, and it did. But yeah, it's been super fun. So basically, what the video is, it's myself and some of my friends in the community all coming together, making our own version of a video which came out in the community called "We Are Crypto Girls." So basically, we all use the line "We are Cardano Girls," and then we have our own funny input into that fits into that line. So the video actually came out based on one video, which is "We Are Crypto Girls," which a community member posted, and it involved different girls in the just the crypto community in general making their own rendition of it. I saw the video and I thought it was pretty funny, and I thought that it would be a good idea for myself and my friends to do our own version for Cardano. And we have a we have a group chat going with some of the girls, and I just kind of popped in and basically casually said, "Is anyone in to do something like this?" And the girls were just like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." And I was like, "Right, okay, quickly make a group chat." Invited more girls in. We had Lena from Claymates, and we had Le Petite and Linda, CJ. We also had Nicolita. So many girls, far everyone involved, and we quickly got them in the chat. And I basically said to the girls, "Right, 24 hours, give me your clip," and then we put it out there and we do it. And we did it. It was very quick. The girls pulled it off, and we got the video out there. But again, we just did not expect it to blow up the way it did. It was purely low effort, have a laugh, maybe get a bit of engagement. That's kind of what the goal was with it.
Well, I have to give it up to you guys for being able to connect and collaborate and execute so quickly. I personally had not seen the Soul rendition, and so I didn't realize that that's where that initial idea came from. But the speed and the way that you guys were able to work together was really impressive to see looking from the outside in. I didn't realize, again, how the movement had actually started. And to look back at the video, as you mentioned, very, very laid back. Um, I mean, again, I'm not by any means playing down the content, but you guys were, just yourselves. No fancy lights, nothing crazy. I think the actual content, what you guys were saying, is more or less what really grabbed everybody's attention, right? I think everybody had some really awesome punchlines. And it was really good to see so many different people coming in from so many different areas together. Now, there's also been a part two, obviously, that has come out since then. And I think is really, again, just kind of grown the movement to where I've also even noticed just individual clips, right? So outside of the Cardano Girls version 1 and Cardano Girls version 2, people just posting their own, I'm a Cardano girl, and they've got their little punchline and tagline to go with it, which has been really interesting to see. Again, I think it's brought Cardano to the forefront for a lot of people, and I'm excited for what you and the other girls have been able to really start here as a movement. Now, let's talk a little bit more about gender diversity and just being a woman in this space, right? I think it's a reality that it's there, whether we want to admit it or not. This space is heavily male dominated, but it's always refreshing to have people like yourself, who remind us that it's not just the males in this space, that we do have women in this space. And over the course of the past week alone, I've had to go back and realize, man, we do have a lot of Cardano women. A lot of them aren't vocal, but after this latest movement, I've seen a lot of them becoming more active and letting the community know, hey, behind this PFP is a Cardano girl or a Cardano woman. So, what kind of impact do you hope that the Cardano Girls movement will have on promoting diversity and inclusivity when it comes to Cardano in the blockchain space?
It's a great question. I honestly hope that it will encourage more women in the community to bring their ideas forward and be creative and create content. I feel like this is one other thing that we are also missing. It's more like ambassadors and creators who are women in the space. And I'd like to see more women kind of coming out of their shell and, you know, putting out their creativity. This is what I honestly really hope comes out of Cardano Girls. Just more, you know, more girls just coming out, you know, posting pictures and, you know, creating content and pushing the ecosystem forward. I would honestly love to see that. And the movement itself, you know, for me, it's not just about women in Cardano as well. It's, you know, it's completely around inclusivity. And at the end of the day, we want everyone to be included. You know, you don't just have to be a Cardano girl or a woman, you know, to support Cardano Girls. You know, we want to include everybody, and that's like the main sort of goal that we have. But ultimately, this is a great way for more women in our community to get together to create and boost our ecosystem. And I hope that encourages more women to come out.
Yeah, I'm sure people have reached out to you and other fellow Cardano women to begin to collaborate, you know, kind of sync up and hopefully stay in touch for the long term. As you mentioned, I think, again, this movement has been bigger than just women. We've also got Cattle Daddy, aka Charles Hoskinson, tuning in for the movement as well. That was really awesome to see him kind of backing and joining in on some of the fun as well, right? So kudos to you and all the other ladies. Now, on a much more serious note, I'm sure that being a part of the minority in this space can be difficult and that can be challenging. So could you maybe highlight some of the challenges that you face here as a woman and what you've been able to do in order to kind of overcome those?
So many great questions from me, honestly, asking the best question.
Thank you.
So I'd say it's been a journey for sure. I mean, I've been in this space since 2021, and when I first came in, it honestly felt like there were only 7 women. And I remember seeing Fart around. I remember seeing Jenny and Moonbeamer and Jamie, and also, just a few of the girls around, and it just felt quite intimidating at first. And there's just been a few things like, you know, joining spaces and, you know, being the only girl on the speakers panel and then having everyone, you know, interrupt you and just feeling like you're not being heard. That's something that's been quite frustrating. Or you know, going to an IRL event and they walk right past you because they think that you're like a partner of, you know, a guy who's there, like he's the real DJ or he's the real creator and you're just the partner. You know, I've had that before. People not really listening to me, which has been frustrating. But, you know, I feel like this is bound to happen, as this is an issue it's still happening today in today's society. You know, there's no doubt about it. It's better, but it's still happening. And the way that I've always kind of moved forward and handled it is just standing my ground and making it known that, you know, no, I'm not just someone who's going to be interrupted or, you know, or someone that's going to be looked over. You know, I'm an individual and I'm as part of this community as anybody else, you know, regardless of my gender. And, you know, I also grew up with 4 older brothers, being the only girl. And I feel like I stood my ground with them. So
I'm sure
a lot of
you had no choice but to.
yeah, exactly. I stood my ground with them. And just moving forward, I tend to just stand my ground, and that's it. It's going to happen at the end of the day. And it's what matters is how you respond to it. And, you know, that's just something for the women in the community as well. It's how you respond. It's the main thing, but just standing your ground, it's been okay. But it hasn't all just been, you know, negative. I've met some absolutely amazing people in the community, have been super supportive of women in the Cardano community, constantly highlighting them. When I first joined the space and I was joining spaces, you know, I had hosts who were men who were putting, you know, basically saying to people who are interrupting me, like, hey, like, you know, she's speaking, like, can you, you know, have some respect. I've had, people stick up for me, and I've seen many people in the community who support women, and they don't see gender as like an issue. They welcome everybody, and I feel like for the most part, the Cardano community, it's super welcoming. There's space for everybody, and I get that feeling that we very much hold to that today.
Nicely said. As a content creator, I'm sure you can relate. There's always going to be trolls, right? Even for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep my content as professional and as um, straightforward as I can. But even in that, there's always projects that I talk about that people don't like. There's people
Mm-hmm.
that I mentioned that they might not like. And I'm sure that you've already seen, anybody from, for example, the ETH space or, for example, the Bitcoin space, for some reason, there's always this tribalism when it comes to other blockchains, right? So even myself as a male in this space, I can say that I've faced very similar challenges, maybe not the same exact examples, right? You mentioned being overlooked, being interrupted, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But even here as a creator, I've realized you can't please everybody, regardless of what you do, regardless of how hard you try. You're always going to have detractors or people that just want to be negative, and you just have to just take the higher road. So I'm happy to hear that you have taken the higher road. You've obviously stuck around in the space, and I think you've been a really good example of someone who has not only stuck around but really made contributions with just the Cardano Girls movement being the latest one. In addition to, as you mentioned, just kind of spreading the gospel about Cardano, creating content, and then obviously being an artist as well. So now that you've kind of got some of this experience under your belt, you've been in the space for quite a bit of time. I believe you mentioned 2021. Do you have any words of wisdom for other women who are now looking from the outside in, who might be feeling a little bit more comfortable, stepping out and kind of joining the community with respect to Cardano or just even blockchain in general?
Great question. But I'd love to say thank you so much for your kind words. And you as a creator, you are honestly very, very admirable. And what you do it so naturally. And yeah, hats off to you for doing what
Thank
you
you.
do.
I appreciate that.
So I'd say my advice to any woman who's looking to join the community and kind of put themselves out there, I'd say my biggest thing would be, don't connect your worth to opinions and things. Your worth is down to you. It comes from you. And if you have an idea, you should drive it forward. If you've got a passion for it, drive it forward. Don't be discouraged because someone has an opinion about it. You should go for it. If you feel like it's your passion and you've got to drive for it, do it. Don't let anyone take it away from you or make you feel like you're not capable of doing it, because you are. You are a member of the community just like anybody else. And if you do get faced with that kind of criticism, again, just stand your ground and move forward with grace. I feel like, the fact that if you have an idea that's different, or if you sort of feel like, oh, actually I can't really be myself because it's not the way it's done, you shouldn't be afraid of that. People really love it when you're different and you are yourself. And I feel like this has really worked for a lot of people in the community. Just being yourself, like, it's so important that you shouldn't have to be someone else or feel like you have to sort of fall under a certain umbrella to be successful or to make these connections. People really appreciate authenticity and you just being yourself. So 100%, just drive forward with your ideas. Don't be scared if you're too different. Just be yourself and have fun.
Nicely said. I would just say to anybody listening in, lean into your talents, right? So whether that's being a content creator, a space host, an artist, whatever the case is, lean into that and double down. And I think there's value that everybody can provide. Myself here, I started this channel about 2 years ago, came into the space completely brand new. And what I love about it is exactly what you said, right? Not having to ask for anybody's permission or anybody's say so to jump in and begin to provide some sort of value. And as you do that over time, people will begin to appreciate the content, but also appreciate you as a person. So I think that's a really good point that you made there. As we get ready to wind things down again, Lily, thank you so much for your time. I want to ask if there's maybe any message you want to share with just the broader Cardano community when it comes to gender diversity or gender diversification.
I'd say just to be honest, the biggest one for me is just treat people just treat people like people. It's, gender shouldn't really matter. And at the end of the day, we're pushing for equality, just to be treated the same as, everyone else. And, don't be weirded out if there's one girl in your space who's speaking and, the rest of you are guys. It shouldn't matter. Like, just be chill. And I know that's just a really blunt way of putting it, but it's true. Don't make a big deal out of things. Like, and also, if you're in a, yeah, okay, so I'm using space as an example again, but if you're in a space and you're in the speakers panel and then a woman comes up and then someone just keeps interrupting her, be that cool guy who says, hey, can you just stop interrupting her? Like, she's just trying to speak, just have a bit of respect. If you see any kind of, if you just see any kind of, injustice in this case, step up and say something. You don't have to be a woman to, call people out on this. Support the community, call out bad actors, because at the end of the day, if this space is seen as gatekeepy or it's seen as, overly male dominated and that women are disrespected, people aren't going to want to join the community. And at the end of the day, you should be welcoming people in, regardless of their gender. Keep it clean. We all have the same goal here, which is to get more people in this community and grow this ecosystem. And, be that person who actively wants to make a difference and bring people in.
Nicely said. Fellas, if you're listening to this, don't be awkward, be respectful. A lot of us have sisters. If you do, treat these Cardano women just like you would your own sister. And last but not least, I think a lot of guys underestimate how much liquidity women could potentially bring, right? I think a lot of online shopping is done by women. Again,
Yes.
no offense, I'm just being
Yeah.
honest here. If we're to, foster an environment for women that was inclusive, I think that would bring in a lot of new eyeballs and a lot of new liquidity. And there's been talks about transaction volume, et cetera, bringing in a whole new group of users, I think could be huge towards that. So, Lily, I can't let you go without asking what's next for the Cardano Girls movement.
Oh, so I don't want to give too much away, but again, this isn't the last you'll see of us. You will see us again. And we're basically just taking some time to create the presence and to come together to, organize ourselves moving forward. But the goal is to continue to create content which is like educational and fun, which is inclusive of everybody. It's not just women in this. Yes, there'll be more Cardano Girls movements, but we're looking at the bigger picture here. I'm chatting to some people at the moment, some exciting people in the community. We've got a cool plan. And again, like, I don't want to say too much, but we've got some really fun, exciting stuff planned. And the goal is to create exciting educational like content, and you're going to see more of it for sure.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm sure that a lot of the community is as well. Again, you guys are off to an amazing start. You guys have a lot of people's attention right now, and I think capitalizing off of that is key at this point. I'd love to see, if there's maybe some sort of catalyst proposal that comes out for the Cardano Girls, maybe to get some sort of marketing campaign started. You never know. I think again, a lot of people are very behind the movement. People have been talking about how this has brought a lot of eyeballs, attention, and just people who are curious about Cardano now, right? So again, thank you for that. As we get ready to close out, if anybody wants to join you and the other Cardano women who've kind of started and probably banded together following the Cardano Girls movement, how can they do that?
Okay, so again, I'm as I just mentioned, we're creating a presence, establishing our presence. So you will see updates come from my personal X profile, which is at Lily Brody, so LILYBRODI. More updates about Cardano Girls and the content and us just moving forward. Also, you're going to find updates from the girls who were featured in the videos. So the core group, which is the girls who are featured in the first video. So for example, Ali Illustrated, CNFT Fart, Bess, Lena from Claymates, Le Petit Ada. You'll see some more updates from us and also from the girls featured in the second video. So I'd highly recommend watching the videos and following all the girls if you want to stay up to date. Drop me a follow as well, and we'll be releasing some more news soon in regards to our present and plans moving forward. So keep an eye out.
Thank you, Lily Brody. Ladies and gentlemen, here, the Cardano Girls movement is rolling strong, as you've heard. And again, taking a much more serious approach to bringing inclusivity and just making sure that people are aware of how to treat and keep women in mind, given the fact that this is not just a male-dominated space, and that we're going to see women joining us as we grow and get bigger. That said, if you guys enjoyed today's video, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up if it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you like more content like this covering everything going on in Cardano. I ask that you consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions surrounding the Cardano Girls movement, how you can join, or if you just want more information about it, make sure to number one, check out the description. And then number two, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment. I'll leave the official link to Lily's Twitter, her artwork, as well as some of the other women included in the Cardano Girls videos. That said, and as always, I appreciate you all tuning in. You all have a good day. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks so much.